Okay, so today we're going to subtract mixed numbers. Before we can subtract mixed numbers, we always need to make sure that we're using the same size pieces. So we need to find a common denominator. A common denominator. So let's go ahead and do that. We have our problem. Let's set it up vertically so it's a little easier for us. 1 1/2 minus 1/4. Whoops. Okay. What common denominator could I use? Well, I could use 4 because 4 can multiply to be 4 and 2 can multiply to be 4. 4 times 1 is 4, so 1 times 1 is 1. We multiply by 1 over 1 to make 1 whole so that we don't change the value of our fraction. Here, 2 times 2 is 4, so that means my numerator needs to be the same here with what I'm multiplying by, so I don't change the value, I just change how it looks. 2 divided by 2 gives me that 1 whole. 1 times 2 is 2. So now I'm going to rewrite my problem with 1 2/4 minus 1/4. I'm even going to, so then the second part is to subtract the fractions. Subtract the fractions. So 2/4 minus 1/4 gives me 1/4. 1 minus, I'm going to put a little 0 here. We're going to subtract the whole numbers next. 1 minus nothing gives me 1. So here I have 1 1/4. Let's go ahead and do this problem. Okay. Let's go ahead. Let's see. So we have 1 1/2 minus 1 1/4. So 1/2 and 1/4 I cannot do because they have different denominators. So I'm going to come over here to the 1/2, 1/4, create a common denominator. Now here I had chosen 4, but if you wanted to, you could always choose 8, 2 times 4 giving you 8, and then simplify it later and get that denominator 4. But for now, let's go ahead and just use 4 because 2 can multiply to be 4. 4 can multiply to be 4, so that's the smallest one we can use. Here's my denominator of 4. 2 times 2 is 4. Same numerator, so that this equals 1 whole. We're not changing the value. 1 times 2 is 2. 4 times 1 is 4. 1 times 1 is 1. So if I rewrite my problem, I now have 1 2/4 minus 1 1/4. 1 2/4 minus 1 1/4. 2/4 minus 1/4 is 1/4. And 1 minus 1 gives us nothing. So I'm left with 1/4 as my answer. Cynthia spent 3 3/5 hours on a research paper and 1 1/4 hours practicing piano. Which expression could be used to determine how much longer in hours Cynthia spent on her paper than practicing piano? Okay, so this problem gets extremely tricky, right? Because we know to make 3 3/5, I can add 3 plus 3/5 to get 3 3/5. To make 1 1/4, I can add 1 1/4 to get 1 1/4. However, it says how much longer. So this is in fact a subtraction problem. So it gets really, really difficult. Well, if we look back at this problem here, what if I had separated it and I did 2/4 minus 1/4 and I got my answer of 1/4, and then I had done my 1 minus 0 and gotten 1, what would I do with these two answers? Because here I subtracted the fraction, here I subtracted the whole numbers. What would I do with these two differences to come up with this answer? Well, I would add them. So over here, we need to apply a similar idea. Okay? Well, I know because I need to create these fractions that A is not going to be it. This is all subtraction. And if you look, I can't have all subtraction because I need to put the fraction piece with the whole number. I cannot do that. Let's look at this one. Can't be B because it's all subtraction. So then I know it's either C or D because I subtract the whole numbers and I subtract the fraction pieces and add them together. Now there's no parentheses here to tell me that I do this part before I add them, which is just fine. So let's look. Let's see. We have 3 and 3/5. So let's change that 3/5 and let's change that 1/4. So we have a common denominator. It looks like both of these chose 20, which would be the 5 times 4. 20 is my denominator. Well, 5 times 4 is 20. Let's not change the value, so 3 times 4 is 12. 4 times 5 is 20. 1 times 5 is 5. So now my problem is 3 and 12/20 minus 1 and 5/20. Which of these problems matches that? Well, let's see. This one, they didn't change the numerator. So those are not equivalent fractions. D cannot be the correct answer. Here we have this information. Looks like my numbers. Let's just double check. So let's do 3 and 12/20 minus 1 and 15/20. 12 minus 15. Or I'm sorry, 12 minus 5. Oops. 12 minus 5. 12 minus 5 is 7/20. 3 minus 1 is 2, and 7/20 is what we get. So let's go ahead and do this math. 3 minus 1 gives us 2, and 2 plus 12/20 gives me 2 and 12/20, and 2 and 12/20 minus 5/20 gives me 7/20. 2. Oop, those are equal. We proved it. C is the correct answer. We have this addition because we have to put the fraction piece with the whole number. Fraction piece with that whole number.